Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So we have been talking about stablecoins for a bit of time now because of how big they are becoming. They're becoming actually a huge piece of the government side of discussions on how we can protect the US dollar. We are also starting to see even additional fiat currencies tapping into stablecoins as well in Europe, Australia, the UK. So it's becoming a global initiative. The race has been on for a while. Now, before I really get into everything, first I want to announce that my apparel company, Tokenized Threads, completely leveled up. Number one, we went through a new manufacturer to offer you guys even cheaper opportunities to buy crypto-themed apparel. Now, this is my store. So everything on this site is created by my team, and this supports the channel in a huge way. I could simply go and take deals to talk about projects or get paid to talk about projects, but I do not do that out of the respect for you guys, because I know that you offering your time to this channel means 10 times more than what any of these companies or projects could pay me. And it's more so about integrity. I would rather offer you guys products that you enjoy, that you can wear, that really kind of connects to the crypto side of things. So if you guys do want to support the channel, and if you guys want to go check out some official crypto themed apparel, you guys are more than welcome to, with the link down in the description below. And with that being said, let's dive on back into the discussion. So number one, we have here from Smoke Dog. So the big thing about stablecoins right now is that we are so close to actually having them regulated completely. We have here stablecoin legislation in the United States will be enacted by the end of the year. President's signature on stablecoin bill before August. Even the Rothschilds are forecasting this, documented 2 times. And here we have the first one, which is, regarding the Stable Act and the Genius Act. The interest in this topic in both chambers of Congress, coupled with the President Trump's desire to sign legislation on stablecoins before Congress's August recess, strongly suggests that before the year is over, some of the stablecoin legislation will be enacted in the United States, or some form of it. I think that this is going to be a game changer, and I also think that this is going to accelerate stablecoin adoption within the US. Now, in terms of that, we also have over here, US legislative developments are setting the stage for digital asset integration into the global economy. Because again, if we're thinking about stablecoins, they will be integrated within the global economy. And in fact, what's funny about this? Ripple met with the Secretary of the US Treasury back in April of 2024, and they were actually talking about integrating stablecoins, CBDCs, and digital assets within the US financial system. Like, this is actually kind of crazy that this is happening this fast in 2025 after all of those big discussions that Ripple did have with the US government back in 2024. But we also have both legislative efforts are a priority for the Trump administration, which aims for them to be passed before August. I would argue that this could happen at any point, right? It could happen in April. It could happen in May. I just think that this is going to be accelerated. I think that this is going to move even faster than we thought was possible because of the big focus put on stablecoins and how huge it will be for the US dollar. Now, talking more so about that, we did get an update from French Hill. He was on CNBC. And he did say an important component for the future of finance is a dollar-backed stablecoin here in the US under US law. We think it'll then set the standard for stablecoins and facilitating payments on a blockchain. Check it out.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. The House Financial Services Committee planning on marking up stablecoin legislation today. President Trump said that he wants a stablecoin bill on his desk soon. He's got a lot going on with the tariffs. I can't even imagine he wants to focus on stablecoins. Congressman French Hill from Arkansas chairs the Financial Services Committee. He's here at our table this morning. We often see you through the window from Washington.
So great to be with you.
So it's nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
I do want to ask you about tariffs, but let's talk stablecoins first. What does this legislation actually look like, and what's the chance it actually gets passed?
Well, we think an important component for future of finance is to have a dollar-backed stablecoin here in the United States under U.S. law, where we have the rule of law, the biggest economy in the world, the biggest capital market in the world. And we think it'll then set the standard for what is a stable coin, how would it be used in a new payment rail called a blockchain payment rail using a dollar-backed stable coin. The Senate marked up a bipartisan bill 2 weeks ago, and we'll mark up our bill this week, So I think there's a good chance that we'll find bicameral consensus and bipartisan consensus to move a stablecoin bill to the president's desk.
I'm curious, you talk to a lot of folks in crypto land, a lot of whom want this, but there's other folks who have sort of different ideas about how this all should be executed. Where do you see the fight?
Yeah, that's such a good point, because this is not a one-off bill. If you had a dollar-backed stablecoin under U.S. law, where are you going to use it? How are you going to use it? And so the regulatory framework bill that we passed last Congress with 71 Democratic votes, called Fit 21, we're going to introduce a version of that bill to try to create the regulatory market structure. How do you protect consumers? How do you tell dealers and innovators and coders how to use digital assets in a financial services context? Is it a security? Is it a commodity? Is it neither? And we're going to.
And what do you think the answers are to those questions?
I think those answers can be found. We offered answers to those questions in Fit 21 last year that got bipartisan support, and we're going to reintroduce that bill and debate it in the House.
If you're successful, what do you think happens to all of the big credit card companies, for example, all of the big payment tech companies, for example? I mean, there is an effort, as you know, by all of these startups to try to upend the entire world with which your committee effectively oversees.
Yeah. Well, we oversee fintech as well. We oversee the payment rail as well. And payment rails have gone from cash to check to promissory note to credit card to debit card to real-time payment. And now they may well migrate at retail and wholesale on a payment rail with a stablecoin.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the, complete evolution of our global financial system. And it's happening with stablecoins on digital rails. This is what we have been talking about for years. You know what's crazy about this, though? Is a lot of people thought that this would take until like 2030, 2035. No, this is happening now. And in fact, it's only going to accelerate from here on. All it really takes is one big push. And stablecoin legislation is that big push. This is going to start a fire that will spread so fast. Within 12 months, it is going to shock a lot of people on how quick things have changed. Because I already see it. I mean, think about it like this. What has changed since November? Look at all the big updates happening around the SEC. Look at the crypto legislation talks that are happening now. Things are accelerating 10 times faster than we thought, ever before. But let's actually dive on into this over here, which is stablecoins are ushering in a new era with price stability, decentralization, and low-cost cross-border payments. Key trends shaping the future. U.S. stablecoin legislation could allow consumers to earn interest. Institutions exploring non-USD peg stablecoins. Clear regulatory frameworks expected for transparency and protection. Expanding use cases in DeFi. Growing adoption in TradFi as well. And we can actually see all of the stablecoins here. We could also see the growth around, the 6 months of stablecoin destination around each stablecoin. But we have stablecoins have enormous growth potential in cross-border remittances, corporate settlements, e-commerce, payroll payments, and DeFi. They're set to reshape the trillion-dollar payment industry, ushering in a new era of borderless trade. So, yeah, I mean, listen, when we think about what's going on here, Ripple has been behind this since day one. We go all the way back to 2022, and I even said this because back on the 27th, JP Morgan predicted that yield-bearing stablecoins could grow from 6% to 50% of the market, driven by rising demand for interest-bearing assets. Now, I said that Ripple in November of 2022. The stablecoin race is on. Does anyone else find it crazy how ahead of the game Ripple is? This is what gives me the confidence to say that RLUSD and XRP will be far bigger than most think. And even when we think about that, right? We just saw 50 million RLUSD minted at the RLUSD treasury. Now, this was on Ethereum. I do believe that we will see RLUSD minted in a big way on the XRP ledger as well. But 50 million was roughly over 25% of the total supply out there at the time that this did get minted. We could actually see that there's over $244 million worth of RLUSD out there now. And this has increased almost 100% in the last 30 days. The holders of RLUSD is up 400+%. The monthly transfer volume is up over 40%. The monthly active addresses is up almost 20%. RLUSD is being adopted at massive rates right now, and we could see how much is getting minted as well, which is, showing us that the demand for RLUSD is extremely significant. Now, on top of this, it does highlight what we have been hearing from Ripple employees like Jack McDonald, saying that RLUSD is expected to be a top 5 stablecoin by the end of the year. On the 28th, they posted this when the market cap was 170 million. The market cap has now increased by roughly 70 million, which is wild. This is showing us that, yeah, they are serious about having RLUSD be in the top 5 by the end of the year. And also, big shout out to vet_x0. We have RLUSD is the most capital efficient stablecoin in the whole crypto currently. It has the highest volume to TVL ratio with 37%, leaving other top stablecoins far behind. PayPal USD 6.5%, Circle USDC 14.26%, DAI 2.27%, Athena USD 2.1%, and even Tether at 34%. Now, what does this mean? Well, we have capital efficiency in this context basically describes how effectively liquidity is being used to facilitate trading. Also, how much in fees you are getting per unit of capital TVL locked. Super important on a high level. A stablecoin with low capital efficiency is not a great place to provide liquidity for. The potential might be there given a high TVL, but you need that sweet usage. The truth here is that usage for this is mainly on Ethereum and Ethereum RLUSD on centralized exchanges. RLUSD usage on the XRP ledger is small versus market cap, but quite high versus TVL. Now, I do expect RLUSD on the XRP ledger to grow significantly as well, but it is good to see how much growth there is on Ethereum as well around RLUSD at the same exact time that the XRP EVM sidechain is becoming a reality. But on top of all of this, right, we think about Tether in a big way because we know that RLUSD isn't just beating Tether along the way around like capital efficiency, for an example. Binance to halt spot USDT trading in Europe for MiCA compliance. We know that Tether is not compliant with MiCA. Binance will suspend spot trading of USDT pairs in the European Economic Area to comply with upcoming MiCA regulations. Stablecoin rules are getting real, and this is just the beginning. And at the same exact time that regulations in the US are heating up, and it looks as though this is going to be the year for them, the question is, can Tether also abide by US crypto legislation for stablecoins? Because if they can't with MiCA, I do question if they can with US law. And also, every single big player from this space is now pushing for lawmakers to unlock stablecoins. Coinbase CEO urges lawmakers to unlock stablecoin interest for fairer financial access. On top of Larry Fink. We have over here that, Larry Fink warned that the dollar is at risk of losing world reserve currency. I already talked about this. And I do agree with Tony Edward here. I think that Larry is basically saying Congress needs to pass stablecoin legislation as soon as possible. Now, if this is the case, this is actually very beneficial for RLUSD. It's bad for Tether. It is bad for Tether. Nobody's going to disagree with me on that because we already know how in the crosshairs Tether is right now around the world as we do start to see stablecoin legislation heating up. I do question what's going to happen with Tether, but more so I'm focused on the success of RLUSD. I don't care about looking into and speculating on Tether's downfall. I more so look at the facts here, and RLUSD is growing at a very rapid pace. I'm very excited to see what happens next, but it's very clear that stablecoins are becoming integrated within the US financial system, and I do believe that RLUSD will also be integrated within the US financial system as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, set notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.